another job came in, another antique sofa from the late 19th century, and we're about to tear it apart. And would be another episode of treasures of the upholstery world. The last thing we did, we found a very interesting couple of things, and the thing that interests me and excites me about this piece of furniture, it looks like the original fabric on it, so perhaps it has some original artifacts inside, and that would be really interested to take this apart to see what might be inside here. So this was probably in a very expensive home around the turn of the century in the front parlor. Probably some fine gentlemen with some fine change in their pockets, perhaps, or some other artifacts. So let's get going. Oftentimes, this isn't one piece of furniture. This is put on into panels. So I suspect, and I won't know until I try with the chisel, and you have to be very careful when you do this, that this is put on with brads from this side. So let's just see if I'm right. Let's just go underneath. Yeah, this is going to be a little tough. I'm going to stop right there because I suspect that they might have put it on another way. So if you're using the chisel, and sometimes they put them on with dowels in the front too, or the brads, like I said, and you feel real resistance, stop and take another approach. What we're doing is surgically trying to take this apart. We're not being aggressive at all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over to this side, and I'm going to see if they've screwed it in from the back. So that means that you have to take the arm off first. Aha, and they have. If you can get in there and see that, there's some screws holding the panel on. So now, how did I know that? Because when I was trying to pry that up, Patrick, you should focus down here, because what we did was we just undid some of this, and we're seeing some type of artifact, if you want to call a candy wrapper an artifact. But for some people, a candy wrapper could mean something. I don't know what this is. This looks like trash. So we might as well pull, well, we're not going to pull that off yet, but we're going to still focus on the panel, getting the panel off. So I'm going to go get a screwdriver. We've taken 2 screws out so far that are holding that front panel on. Now we're going to take out, make sure you save all the screws, by the way. There's one more screw in here, so I think it's the main screw. It's in the middle of the panel. I'll try to take that out. So, looks like that's going to come off now. Sometimes these panels have a signature on them on the back side, or a date, which would be kind of cool. That would be interesting. We'll slowly flip that over and take a look. Let's take a look. No, I don't see anything. So you see remnants of some glue they glued. And then you see this piece here? That was a remnant of a brad coming through the front side. Let's see. They drove the brad through here and probably finished it. But there's the front. There's the left panel. Here's a brad that you can see. So they did a combination of screws and brads. So this brad's coming through that brad is coming through the front. And they filled it in. After they put the brad in, they filled it in. So you can see the stock here, Patrick. You have a picture of this. See the stock's very old. So we're talking about like that Victorian chair that we have done, what we're doing now that you will soon see. This is about the same era. I'd say 1860. This is interesting. So let's put this aside. The other one will be just like this. Let's go over here and see. So my approach is to take these panels, these decorative panels off, front panels off first. So this should be on the same way as the other one. There were 3 screws and some brads. There's one, and there's another one up in this area, near the top. I'm only this. Took the right one off, and we found a number, 419. Now, does that mean this was the 419th one produced? I don't know. Could be a part number for this piece, but something that they did that they didn't do on the other side. They drove a big nail through here. Actually, it looks like a hand-forged nail, too. That's what I'm trying to get a close-up of that, Patrick. Do you see a seam anywhere on that? That's an indication of the machine age when you see the seams, machine-made, but this machine age. This looks like a hand-forged nail. So what has to happen here, let's just try it and hold our breath. This has to come back out Now, if I have a hard time, I might just cut it right down here. And let's just look it over here. You know what? I think I am going to cut this. I'm going to start over again because if I back that out, I'm going to splinter my wood here. So I'm trying to protect as much of the original as I can. So what I'm going to do is take my trusty side cutters and I'm going to cut this. Now, when you do this, make sure there's nobody around. I'm going to hold it away from the camera and away from the cameraman. And I'm going to cut that. And that nail just flew off that way. So that's all I'm going to do, okay? I might try to get it. I can't get it much closer than that, so that's good. Okay, so let's put these aside for now, and then we're gonna go to the back. I'm gonna go after the decorative pieces on the back, and sometimes they're doweled on, sometimes they're screwed on. In the case of the front pieces, they weren't doweled, they were screwed and braided on from the front. So, you're always gonna be confronted with different ways people do things. So I have no idea until I start. I'm going to take the outside back off and take a look inside here to see. I just want to show you something. It's a very tradition in upholstery. These are called gimp tacks, G-I-M-P, gimp tacks. And they're used to close up the outside. Very simple, method, but it's very traditional in the upholstery world. So let's take this off. Wow, it's got some age. Look at the stock on this. What I mean by stock is width. I see something that's wide, a board that's wide like this, that's an indication of age. I'll put all you antique dealers out. Now we're going to get into the bottom here, where possibly Jesse James or somebody sitting on this sofa in the Wild West might have dropped some information about his life in a letter to his girlfriend, or we can speculate and have fun doing that. It's almost like a time capsule, really, when you're opening up something this old. So here's the moment of truth. This is interesting. So we got some modern things. Right away, I see some M&Ms. That's pretty modern. But here's a thank you note. Let's just take a look at this. New England Confectionery Company, Cambridge, Massachusetts. Thank you for choosing the candy cupboard, etc., etc., etc. That's got some interest, but that's modern. See what else we got here. Now we haven't opened up the main money pit here. Let's just see. I can tell you one that whoever owned this loved candy. Okay, so we're just gonna continue the story process and take that right off. So now that I've removed the outside back, upon inspection, I had a better understanding of how this is put together. Okay, so the decorative part that you see here is part of the main board, okay? And these pieces, the three pieces here, are panels, and they're gonna come out separately, one at a time, after I unscrew them. But the first thing I might do is I might remove the whole thing first. So I'm trying to determine that right now. You see how loose it is? We'll tighten it up too as part of the job. But let's just remove a little bit more of this fabric from the outside back. And wow, you can see the construction here. So what we're going to do is start unscrewing these, I guess, to see how easy this is going to come off in one piece, hopefully. That's a nail, see? They've used anything they can to get this tight. So that comes out. Oh, guitar pick, an old guitar pick, Patrick. It says something on it too. That's it. So this is a separate piece. The back is a separate piece with three separate panels, which will be taken off one at a time. later on. So now I want you to come to the front. Why don't you go around to the front, and I'll stay in the back. So this, for all of you beginners out there, could look a little bit more familiar, or you can get your head wrapped around what we have left, which is an attached seat and attached arms. So we have an attached seat, attached inside arms and outside arms that are put on after all the panels in the front are put on and the back is in place. So we always start with the seat, inside arms, inside back, outside back, in that order. So we didn't find any treasures, but you know, that's okay. The treasure is the piece itself. We did find some candy, New England Confectionery Company label, which was kind of interesting. We found a number on the front. But I'd say lackluster, but I hate to use that word, but hey, you know, maybe on the next piece we'll get lucky. So we'll see you next time.